let's say someone finally is like, all right, Esther, I am going to approach dating now. I'm going to be less stressed. I'm going to allow myself to just move past that fear of the unpredictable, and I'm going to lean in. I think we've heard people say, you know, this person checks all my boxes, right? In your opinion, when is it realistic to have a list of qualities you're looking for in a partner? And when does that actually end up instead limiting you?
Every time I think about the list, the checklist, the boxes, this is that. I always think, do you put as much emphasis on who you want to be than who you want to find?
We have made a couple of videos of psychotherapist Esther Perel checking some of the delusional thoughts women have on the Oprah Winfrey Show. But she has been doing this for over 20 years. Not because she hates women, but because as a psychotherapist, you have to be objective. And Esther Perel shows a consistency in checking women on their unrealistic expectations and delusional thinking that men in this space have been doing forever and getting canceled for. Esther Perel gets away with it because she is a woman the sisterhood respects. So without further ado, we are going to let Esther Perel make the case for us. No cancellation required.
Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do. Because we many.
I mean, it's like, what is this? This is the consumerism. I come with my checklist, I sit in front of you in a noisy bar, and I'm going to ask my questions and see if you check my boxes. That is such an awful experience. And if you think that in the middle of that you're going to get goosebumps or some butterflies in your belly, you're off the chart. Seriously.
It's so true. It's also like, that's...
Who do you want to be? How do you show up? What do you want? It's like product, you know, I'm coming to check if you fit the product.
Wait, like I want to get a product review. Like,
yes.
Are you a 5 stars? That's way like actually so humbling. And
Do you do that?
No, I was gonna say I'm married, and I even was like, because I used to do that, and I think it's so honest what you're saying. If like we all look inward, half the time we have expectations for people that we don't even meet ourselves. Like some of the things I used to expect.
Who do you want to be? I mean, you want the person to have this. Who do you want to be?
Right.
What do you bring? What do you want to offer? What do you want to share? Who do you want them to think that they are in the presence of? Rather than this one-sided, you know.
What do I want? I want to be with him. But there's been so many of those disappointments over the years that trying to balance who I'm becoming and being independent. And now that my kids are getting a little bit more independent.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
You resent him or yourself for accepting it? Damn, you're good.
Well, and I was going to say, I think it's important too to clarify, like, what is the difference between good friction and bad friction? Because I don't want any girls going like, oh, wow, we need to fight. We need to fight to feel the thrill, Esther.
No. I'm not talking about toxicity. I'm talking about friction. I'm talking about this that creates heat. It's really that. It's the ability to tolerate difference. It's the idea that other people will have very different versions of what just happened, and they're sitting right side by side with you. It's tolerance for conflict. It's rupture and repair. Friction is all the paradoxes or the contradictions that we feel in relationships. Attraction and disgust. Care and aggression. Rupture and repair. Trust and betrayal. These polarities are intrinsic. They are part and parcel of every relationship. They come and go. They move, you know. There are moments when you are deeply trusting and moments where you are suspicious. There are moments where you think, I can't take another minute of this. And then the next minute you think, I can't take another day without it.
I think there's both, because it was a decision that I went into with eyes wide open. And he told me what he wanted to do with his life. He sat me down and said, this is what I see myself doing. Do you see yourself being able to do that? And we were young, so he was really wise to do that. But I didn't know what I was getting into.
One never does. So that's the first thing. You agree to something up front, but you only know the experience once it's happened.
Mm-hmm.
You can't predict the experience.
Right.
But you do. There is something you're holding on to. And it's not clear if you punish him or if you punish you. Every time something happens, it opens up. We call it kitchen sinking. You put every dirty dish in the sink, everything piles up, you can't clean anything. So the slightest one little thing opens up a whole Pandora box of all the disappointments that you have had, and you can start to, and you will, even in your speech, you're the same script, same thing. And you go down the list, and I can't believe this, and you remember that, and you never did anything about this. And you basically don't allow for the relationship to heal, to repair. There are ruptures. The art of a relationship is repair. Ruptures is a given. That's so obvious. But the repair, the actual ability to give yourself the opportunity to be with somebody who says, I'm changing, I'm doing something different. And to receive that, to really receive that, that's the vulnerability. Being angry and being stuck and being stubborn and holding the grudge, that state of contraction like that is actually, it's pseudo-protective. It pretends to protect you, but it's bullshit.
I want you to think carefully about what Esther Perel just said, and while you are thinking, compare it to what the feminist movement told women in the 1960s and has been advocating for every decade since. This is not the typical advice. This is not, you deserve better. This is not, if you are not happy, just leave. This is not the path of least resistance dressed up as empowerment. What Esther Perel is doing here is something rare. She is handling this from a point of accountability. This is not just about her feelings. This is not about taking the easy way out. This is about introspection, looking inward before pointing outward. And here is why that matters beyond this one woman's marriage. When you do not have an environment, especially among women, where people hold each other accountable for their role in the outcomes of their lives, you get exactly what we have today. Over 60% of men are no longer interested in dating. That is not a statistic that comes from nowhere. That is the accumulated result of a generation of women being told that accountability is optional and that their feelings are always someone else's responsibility. Esther Perel is quietly dismantling that narrative one therapy session at a time. Let her cook.
But also, what is the fairy tale? Like, how is this person gonna, I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna meet the love of my life and I'm gonna have a wedding and here's my Pinterest board and
I'm gonna have with you everything that marriage used to be: companionship, economic support, family life. But on top of it, I'm gonna have a trusted confidant and a passionate lover and a best friend and an intellectual equal and a coach and a gym partner, etc., etc. And all of this for the long haul, right? It's like, so here's the distinction. We came from a model where we wanted, this romantic model you're talking about, one person for everything. One person is going to give me what once an entire village used to provide.
right.
I think that the challenge of today is that many people don't have a village. So they're not even questioning that anymore. They're questioning the beginning of relationships altogether. And there are people who understand, you are my partner, but my village is not just you. My village is all kinds of people around that come because we are together. And that view has been seen as lesser than. It's below standard. And certainly for women who were stuck for so long, who now have the possibility to go, if you need to settle that way, then you're better off going. Right. And this notion, you're better off on your own, that with something that is imperfect, has taken hold in our society and makes a lot of people live in secrets.
Right.
They hide in plain sight because they won't tell you.
Won't tell you what?
That they are living in imperfect relationships.
Right.
Because the romantic ideal is meant to be flawless and perfect. And the culture, this capitalist culture that you're referring to of optimization and maximization also aspires to perfection.
Yeah.
So everything that becomes imperfect is one of the biggest challenges of the moment.
So there's also this other narrative right now that men are being commoditized. Did you watch the movie Materialists?
Yes.
Okay, what did you think of the Materialists as a concept? The relationship, not the film, but the idea for those
That
who
it's
haven't
all
seen-
in the math.
Yeah, it's all a transaction.
It's all in the math. Yes.
You agree that that's how our culture looks at it?
I think that there is something about that in our culture, yes. I think this is consumerism marrying romanticism, becoming romantic consumerism. It's emotional capitalism.
So the idea, I mean, the way the film, for people who haven't seen it, came out.
He's a 10.
He's a 10.
He's a unicorn. She's a 6.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just amazing. That's
Everyone
it.
has a number, and then to promote the film, they put a stock price ticker literally at the New York Stock Exchange that had men and their height and their salaries, and they were running them up and down as if it was a commodities exchange.
Right. It is terrible.
Do you
It's
think?
so sad.
Key word, emotional capitalism. Now, who are the emotional ones in this equation? Men have emotions. Nobody on this channel denies that. But research consistently shows that men are more disciplined in how those emotions translate into behavior and spending. Women control approximately 80% of consumer purchases in the Western world. 80%. That number does not exist by accident.
You know how hard it is to make you happy?
Is that I am a modern woman. Like, I could have been anything. Well, my non-negotiables are that they're rich. I don't want to hate you because you're poor, but right now I do, and it makes me hate myself. I'm gonna die alone.
Movies like The Materialist are not films. They are commercials with a storyline. Sex and the City was not entertainment. It was advertising and social engineering disguised as aspirational content designed to break up the household unit and redirect female spending toward things that generate revenue for everyone except the woman buying them. The show came back under a different name, and just like that, all the women were single again, finding themselves, navigating drama, consuming products and experiences to fill the gap that the original show helped create. Esther Perel called it romantic consumerism, and women are the primary market for that product. The feelings are real. The exploitation of those feelings is also real. And until women can distinguish between the two, the emotional capitalism machine keeps running.
I would like to do that with him.
That's
I want
your
to stay
choice.
with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
just
when-
want to feel safe.
So when the booger comes up, no, safe, you have to take risks. You don't have to be safe.
Maybe
You have
that's
to
the
be
problem.
safe, but at this moment, it's about taking risks. It's the risk of allowing yourself to be different with him and to allow him to be different with you. It's the risk to say we're going to have a second relationship with each other. It's the risk that when the grudge comes up, to look at it and say, you know what, I really don't feel like dealing with you today. You're not invited here. We're having a nice moment and you're coming in and you're kind of reminding me and poisoning my everyday life. Please go and take a break for a minute. And you just talk to the grudge. It's you and your inner voice saying, I'm not going to let you rule my relationship. You're a small part of our life. And you certainly are going to prevent us from having any future if you continue. I mean, I'm holding it up because it's like you look at it. Sometimes I think people should have like finger puppets, you know? And then you name it, you give it a name, that part of you that holds you back, that part of you that wants revenge, that part of you that feels that no amount of apology and recognition will ever be enough.
Yeah, because he really has. He's
Yes.
written over the last 2
It sounded
years,
like
he's-
it. It sounded like it. And it's like, it's as if I accept your apology, all my suffering was for nothing. And in order to give it its proper respect, I have to constantly reject your
and hold on to it.
Yes,
hold on to it, because that makes me feel good, makes you feel good. Holding on to it makes you feel good,
And
makes you feel
if you
powerful.
don't hold on, then you're saying to him that what he did wasn't so bad after all, and it can be forgiven. It's this, it poisons us. I mean, it has its logic, but it poisons us.
When you learn how to have disagreements with a partner, I feel like a lot of people don't want to put in that work. Do you feel like people are giving up on relationships too quickly and getting the ick and being like, that person did that one thing. I don't want to continue with this. Do you think people aren't fighting to be in relationships anymore?
Before we let Esther respond to this, Let me make sure everyone in this audience understands exactly what the ick is, because this term gets thrown around casually, and the casual framing hides how revealing it actually is. The ick is when a woman suddenly finds a man repulsive after previously being attracted to him. One small thing flips a switch, and the attraction disappears completely and irreversibly. It became a massive TikTok trend, with women proudly listing what gives them the ick. A man waving at a boat, a man being too eager, a man running funny, a man caring too much. Read that last one again. A man caring too much gives women the ick. The same women who will tell you they want a man who is emotionally available, present, and invested are broadcasting on social media that a man caring too much makes them physically repulsed. That contradiction is not a bug in the system. It is the system. And Esther Perel, as a psychotherapist who has spent 20 years sitting across from these women, is about to tell you exactly what that means clinically. Let her cook.
I think we live in a culture of premature rejection. And part of this is because we are in a consumer society and we have brought consumerism to our romantic lives. Ooh. So romantic consumerism is that you're looking for a soulmate on an app. And you also are constantly thinking that there may be better soulmates. There's other people. So you're constantly comparing and making sure you're having the best deal. And then you measure your return on investment. And you have this entire business mentality that makes people feel actually quite shitty because they basically feel reduced to products. Mm-hmm. You know, where somebody will not want to accept the good because they're afraid of missing out on the perfect. That is the consumer mentality. What's the best deal I can get? So the ick is a premature rejection. It's like, it's such an intolerance to any discomfort. The slightest little thing that you do that I didn't like, nah. You know, I take you out of the cart and put you back on the shelf. Knowing yourself as well as this, you take to your girlfriends. Mm-hmm. Knowing yourself as well as you do, what would you say would make it hard to live with you?
I'm moody.
Not to you specifically. Oh. Take it to your girlfriend.
I was like, I'll tell you.
No.
I know.
But they don't think about that when they're doing the ick factor.
That's very interesting.
You see, it's the ick factor is you did something. Knowing yourself, take for a minute, move the lens onto you and just ask yourself, how many ick factors may this person have had with me that they have chosen to overlook because they're giving me a chance? I'm not the only person making a decision here.
That is very funny to think about, because I think about that nice man in my life and I'm like, I probably have so many icks.
You diagnosed the first time we met. It's extremely challenging because I have this other orientation. I want to be, dutiful, and I want to, in many ways, model parts of what my mother has done. But I also have this real tension and expectation and experience of being a highly independent, individualized, person in this world with a lot of freedom, a lot of choice. So that's why I asked the question, did feminism fuck us? I ask it partly rhetorically in a way that women, but I also think there's this changing role of women that is objectively good and yet hasn't been captured and really dealt with as a society. For what you're saying, it's going to be multi-generational for it to be absorbed.
Correct.
Yeah.
It needs to metabolize. But I think if you're asking about the foundations of changing the dynamic between the roles, I came to hear you do a leader dialogue or a debate recently about masculinity.
Yes, at the Comedy Cellar.
What was at the Comedy Cellar, right? Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing is that the person started to talk by talking about the women's revolution, and that revolution actually hadn't just changed the life of women, but it had actually changed the lives of men. Mm-hmm. And it gave birth to a very, very important development, which is the making of modern fatherhood, right. Which is a huge. But we don't talk about that in terms of the the men's movement. we've decided that the women had a revolution and the men have not had it yet.
Yeah.
But we do know
Do you think they've had it? Have men had a revolution yet? Like a feminist revolution, but for men?
I think that women have had about 50, 60 years of examining their lives and their position in this world and their aspirations and rights and narratives. And I think that men have not had it in as systematic a way. There are pockets, but they have not. And I think that in that sense, the restrictions are much stronger on the men.
Does there need to be a masculinity revolution?
I don't think of it as a revolution. I think that everybody stands to gain from revisiting taboos,
Right.
Rigidities, set norms, and constraining and constricting narratives and roles. What's wrong? I mean, it's kind of an obvious thing. Why wouldn't we? And I think that it would change the lives of many. But that's a point of view, right?
Right.
Is status quo something that must be preserved, or is there something inherently good in revisiting social norms?
The restrictions she is describing are precisely what men in the manosphere have been fighting to name and dismantle for years. Men's rights activists in particular have been labeled, dismissed, and silenced for pointing at the exact dynamic Esther Perel just described in a therapy context to a mainstream audience. But here is what makes this moment different from every other moment in this conversation's history. We are living through a threshold. The internet gave men a voice that could no longer be denied or contained by mainstream gatekeepers. And now, with the rise of AI, men will have the option to opt out of relationships with biological women entirely and have their fundamental human needs met on their own terms: companionship, emotional availability, consistency, loyalty, all of it, on demand, without the chaos tax. This is going to be the men's revolution that history books will document. Not a protest, not a hashtag, not a podcast. A quiet mass migration. Men choosing AI companions over biological women at scale. And it will not come without resistance. The same institutions that dismissed men's voices for decades will not accept this transition peacefully. There will be legislation attempts. There will be social shaming campaigns. There will be think pieces about the mental health crisis of men who prefer AI. But here is what those institutions are going to discover. You cannot shame a man back into a system that stopped serving him. You can only watch him build a better one. Esther Perel has been saying the quiet part out loud for 20 years. The manosphere, we've been saying it since the internet gave us a voice. But the AI revolution is about to make the argument impossible to ignore for everyone. Listen to all, follow none.
Manosphere, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.